So I've always been intrigued by ITX cases. After building my fiance her PC in the pink NR200P, I developed a newfound respect for ITX cases. Pretty much how compact they are, the extremely small footprint allowing massive desk space, a lot of other things to really incorporate onto the desk besides just a massive tower, and most of all, the complete focus on just performance and efficiency. Don't get me wrong, I love RGB, I love all the awesome themes and color combinations you can create with the monitor screen inside and the AIO. But recently bought a house, and even though I can finally do a dream desk setup, whatever that means, I first put my huge Lanco 3 on my Carlby desk. With the dual monitor setup, it was just way too big. I thought, you know what, this might be the perfect time to transition to an ITX case. It would be so perfect for this desk setup. Building in an ITX case brings its own unique problems and challenges to overcome. Overall performance, especially efficiency, and when it comes to temps, is now a big concern. How much performance can we put into a small form factor case without sacrificing extremely high temps? You know, it's a nice balance that you have to actually go when you plan out an ITX case. General power usage, every part is much more important to the overall success and performance to a PC build, and for me, a gaming and content creation, my productivity, this is my all-in-one machine. That's a lot of power I need to compact in this small form factor case. So let's get into the build, guys. So for the case, this was a very easy choice. We're going to go with the Lian Li A4 H20. Now, the only other case I really considered would be the Dan C4 SFX, but that's been sold out, you know, pretty much forever ever since the early adopters really got a hold of it. I was never able to chance to secure one. I will try to get the V2, but yeah. Anyway, we get another Dan case. We get the A4 H20, the collaboration with Lian Li. This case is just gorgeous. It's extremely well-made aluminum and steel with great attention to detail in the small spots. Great airflow perforation all around the case. It's an 11-liter SFF while still allowing a 240 AIO SFX-L PSU triple slot GPU, including fitting chunky 4080s and 4090s, those FEs, that MSI Ventus, the ProArt. A sandwich layout that does include a riser cable. This case really has it all, and I'm surprised that this isn't more highly regarded when it comes to like SSF cases, because I really think this is one of the best small form factors that you can get, and the most important thing, it's easily and readily available. Beautiful minimalistic designs. The case just screams no BS, just top tier performance and great aesthetic. So for the GPU, it's a no-brainer. As a gamer and content creator, NVIDIA really is king, and although the 4080 has an extremely poor price, its low power draw and excellent temps make it pretty much not only a dream for ITX builders, but kind of a requirement. Again, I did mention it earlier, but the MSI Ventus, the XXX, and the Asus ProArt are other options, but I would lean towards the Founders Edition or the MSI just because they're going to be closer to MSRP, and the ProArt does run a little bit more warmer compared to these other two models from what I've read. CPU, another no-brainer. As a gaming content creation and productivity setup, we're going to go with the 7800 X3D, the ultimate best gaming CPU. Now, it's not going to match the 7950X or the 7950 X3D in performance, but the majority of my editing and workload in DaVinci is just GPU focus. CPU focus is not a big part of my workload. Most importantly, though, the low thermal design power at just 120 really makes just having a 240 AIO absolutely have no issue cooling this CPU, getting really low temps in this setup. The CPU cooler, big factor in getting this case is obviously the 240 AIO. I really don't recommend air cooling this, but we're limited to a pump height of 55 millimeters. Here comes the Fractal Lumen V2. At just $99, we get a wonderfully reviewed AIO with just a 43 millimeter pump block. Very good, no fitment issues, no turbulent issues, and it looks utterly beautiful, even though we don't really care about aesthetics. But the nice subdued RGB light from the outside, it's a nice touch. For the MOBA, I highly recommend any 650E. The 670s are just overpriced and a lot of extra features that you don't need. If you do know what you really need, and for some reason you need, spend $400 or $500 a month, more power to you. But again, even for my 650E from Asus, the power isn't great, but you know, I get what I need, the Wi-Fi 6Cs, two M2s, big chungus, unnecessary VRAMs, doesn't really matter. I don't know why they do this, but hey, to each their own. Asus. Two USB-C, which is very important for me, and then, you know, plenty of USB-A, no biggie. So for the PSU, this is actually going to be kind of a contention when it comes to small form factor. So I went with the Asus Loki 1000 watt compared to the Corsair SFF 750. The 1K watt, yes, it is overkill for this build, but the discount from Micro Center, it was only $10 more than the 850, so I was like, easy buy over Asus, $10. Now, another issue is that it is SFXL, providing tighter fitments, especially with the AI tubes going over how I did it. But the big thing with the Loki is that it comes with all sleeved cables. Yes, every single cable comes sleeved, including that 12-volt H power cable. Yes, guys. The overall cable clutter that you reduce by having, instead of the 3x8 pins into the 12-volt adapter from the video or another custom one from Cable Mod, you get a pure sleeved cable right out the box, no extra money spent. It's very, very worth it. And with this and SFXL, it is no issue with fitment in the case. I think a lot more people should be leaning towards the Asus Loki because I think it's an absolute good buy. And guys, the sleeve, if you build a lot of PCs, then the sleeve cables is just a godsend, getting it right out the box. Now for the SSD, not too much to think about. Personally, I just like Western Digital. I like their black SN850Xs. They performed well in me in the past. No issues there, so I just went with that. For RAM, another easy choice. Get the lowest cast latency, but the highest speeds that you can get. Preferably get, around 6,000. That's very, very stable at this point. And AM5 and Intel 2, their platform. These black pure G.Skills are going to do excellent in this build. They have a low profile, that low height, going to fit absolutely perfectly, and they look super good too. Now, let's look at the finished build. So back to business. Performance is bonkers in this build. Obviously, the RTX 4080 and the 7800 X3D crushes OLED 1440p. Even on my third monitor, the LG C2 OLED, I use that for my Elden Ring, my other Souls-like, for that 4K gaming, and even there, it just has absolutely no issues. It's a very, very good card. Doesn't compare to the 4090, obviously, in 4K, but I did save $500, so kind of an easy choice for me. When it comes to productivity, absolutely no issues. My workload is really, really, really smooth. The timeline is nice, smooth, no issues, and rendering is actually pretty damn fast. Even working on the Fusion page is super, super easy. There is one caveat, though. The 7800 X3D, I wouldn't say struggles, but you will see an increase in noise and an increase in temps when you're recording via OBS or some other programs and you're a streamer. So if you do fall under that category, if you're a streamer, constantly recording gameplay videos, then do know that you might want to upgrade to maybe even a 7950 X3D. You might lose some frames here and there, but overall your productivity and your temps during streaming should drop a little bit more. If you don't mind the fan noise, no biggie, but if you are like me, then maybe go elsewhere when it comes to CPU choice. Now, to really conclude the video, this is actually going to be a unique take on the whole PC build, the ITX build, because this portion of the film is 5 months after I built the PC. Yeah, I built it 5 months ago, and then obviously as I was getting more into gaming content creation, I kind of put this whole video off. But overall, guys, I have no regrets. It's just, you go ITX and it's like you're just a part of this, I don't want to say like elitist club, but it's just, you're kind of a part of something unique. No ITX build is ever the same, and you could say the same thing when it comes to PC builds overall, especially RGB builds. But if you go on social media and you go on a lot of different websites and stuff like that, you're gonna see the same Lian Li A4 H20 fans, and I had the same AIO with the screen and the GIFs and the monitor inside, and it just at some point kind of lost grasp of what was really important when it came to PC builds. And for me, it's just the pure singular focus when it comes to just performance and getting the tasks that you need to get done and getting it in as small of a form factor as possible. That challenge, having it in reality on my desk, and having just a much more professional desk setup, because I'll show you guys in a second here, but I don't really have a studio. All I have is a 2-bedroom house, and my desk space is not only where I live, where I sleep, this is everything. And having a nice homey professional setup, just a massive Christmas tree at my desk, It's very, very nice. Two other things that I will note, critiques on my own build. I do not recommend going to Fractal Lumen if you have an AMD platform. I'll show you in a picture here, but the mounting mechanism, that whole hook and tighten, I absolutely despise it. So if you're like me and you hate that, I meant like back in the Corsair H100 Elite days, I think it was terrible. Go a different route. And not a critique, but a recommendation. The T30s, the Fantecs, are probably the best fans on the market, but the Lian Li P28s are a close second. And I really want that because it was available on Micro Center, and because they're at 2 millimeters more compact, getting a little bit more space, it's unbelievably, those P28s are so goddamn good. I highly recommend those. Like, normal workload, intense gaming, the only time you'll ever hear those is, again, when you're streaming and you get that high temp getting close to the throttle when you're like the high 80s. But even then, like, it's not like I'm in a turbine, you know. It's like I'm not like on a plane. They're very, very, very good performers. Those are probably my favorite part of the build, like the fans, right? That's pretty much it, guys. Mozu with Negron Tech Gear. I hope you guys enjoyed it. This ITX case, this build, it's a marvel. It is perfection. I highly, highly recommend. If you haven't already, try ITX build.